How's it going, YouTube? Got FourthStarTCG here, and today I would like to talk about backyard, backroom, basement, bedroom grading companies. This is something that's actually been getting like mainstream attention. There was an article, I think, in Wired or something about it, about all the people who have been capitalizing on the run on the grading companies. Just so much demand for graded Pokemon cards that these people have basically said, okay, I'm going to start up my own grading business out of the back of my house. So today I'd like to talk about those companies, those people. Many of them do not have more than one employee, and discuss why these companies have come to fruition, what I think about them, and give you some hard truth about the reality of graded cards. So first off, these companies, I mean, anytime there is opportunity in a market, you are going to see people capitalizing on it. So if PSA is totally backed up, if BGS is backed up, if CGC is raising their prices, you're going to have people who are going to say, hey, I can look at a card and grade it on a scale of 1 to 10 and slap it in a plastic box and send it back to someone. That's not that hard. And they're going to do it themselves. And we've had this for a while. We've had, grading companies spring up here and there, but none of it was at the same level it is now, where like every week there seems to be a new grading company that is buying plastic slabs and ultrasonic welders or super glue and putting together a graded Pokemon cards. And most of these companies are like focused on Pokemon, which I think is kind of crazy to see. Like sports cards is way bigger than Pokemon, but a lot of these companies are focused on Pokemon cards. And I do blame that on sort of the sports card market people being more attuned to the reality of the market, which is that these small bedroom, basement grading companies do not usually work out. So, obviously anyone can start their own business and they can, try to fill a niche or a need within the market. I'm not sort of putting any, casting any disparities on these people who have gone out and tried to make some money. But that's pretty clearly their only motivation here. Is their motivation is to make money. They want to capitalize on this area in the market, and they're going to do it whether they're experienced or not. In this Wired article, I'll try to find it and link it. It was kind of hilarious because they were talking about like the hate that they were getting, and then someone was like, oh, we have someone with 4 years experience in Pokemon doing our grading. And I was like, oh my goodness, like you have no idea what the Pokemon market, you have like 4 years experience. I'm sorry, that's nothing. But these companies, they spring up and they provide one service, which is a cheap way to get your card encased, and that's about it. These companies, they don't have the experience, they don't have the necessary respect within the market that any of the other major companies do. So this gets me into my second point, which is sort of the hard truth about graded cards, which is that the condition of the card does not matter. The grade of the card does not matter. What only matters is the reputation of the company that has graded the card that you're purchasing. The name of the grade doesn't matter. All of this stuff that we like to pretend matters really doesn't. There's a reason why my Gem Mint condition, as attested to by BGS, Regirock EX, would sell for less than a PSA 10 copy of the same card all day long. There's a reason why the highest premiums are paid for PSA 10 copies, and that's excluding very rare things like BGS. There's a reason why the highest premiums are paid for BGS 10 copies, or perhaps I should say there's a reason why market value is based around a PSA 10, but the biggest of the big sales, your BGS 10, that's a level above PSA, and collectors have recognized that. That's what I mean when I say reputation. And now when we talk about CGC, a CGC 9 is almost always going to sell for less than a PSA 9. Even a CGC 9.5 might be selling, depending on the card, might be selling for less than a PSA 9. Certainly CGC 9.5s will, on average, again, not sort of, there are exceptions to this as there are exceptions with everything, CGC 9.5 is going to sell for less than a PSA 10. Even if the CGC 9.5 perhaps might be in better condition than a PSA 10. Because, as I said, what doesn't matter is the grade. It doesn't matter what condition the card is. You are buying the reputation and the market placement of the grading company within the hobby. So because PSA is so respected, because PSA has set the market price standard for Pokemon cards for years, like literally from the beginning of Pokemon card grading back on HGTV in 2002, with Gary hawking his CD promos, PSA has been the Mac Daddy in Pokemon. And of course, BGS has a slice. CGC has definitely taken a slice recently. PSA is still the big dog. And the highest prices, the market value, is going to be paid for PSA cards because that's PSA's position in the market. Even if we sort of acquiesce to the idea that, okay, CGC 9.5s might be a narrower and more quote-unquote strict form of grading, your CGC 9.5s, your CGC 10s are on average going to be better condition than a PSA 10. People still aren't going to pay more for them. Even if everyone agreed that a CGC 9.5 was on average in better condition than a PSA 10, people aren't going to pay more for that because CGC is not the market standard. So that being said, that gets us back to the original point about these basement, grandma's bedroom grading companies, which is that they have no reputation and they have no space within the market. And when that happens, because that's what you're paying for in a graded card, these cards have little to no value beyond just beyond the value of the raw card and maybe just like an eBay seller saying what condition it is. They really offer no reputational advantage over selling a card raw because nobody knows who these people are. They have not had time to build their market reputation, and chances are a lot of them will go defunct before they have the opportunity to do that, just because these companies are solely existing because we are in a massive boom period for Pokemon. And that's going to end eventually. Things are never going to go back to the way they were in 2019, but things are definitely going to cool down from where they are now. I feel like that's a very fair assessment of the state of the market. At least, I think graded card prices are going to stabilize. The cost for grading cards is going to normalize. All of these things that have really driven the craziness of the graded card market are eventually going to slow down, and as such, the need for these basement grading companies are going to disappear. And when that happens, the people who run these companies and the people who own these graded cards are going to be left out to dry because these companies, they don't have what makes a grading company go. They don't have that reputational advantage. They don't have that recognition within the market. So I can hear people kind of saying in the background, okay, well, how does someone build it? Does that mean that no other grading company can come? Are we stuck with PSA and BGS and CGC for all time? And the answer is no. Of course, people can come in and try to make something happen. But, grading cards is such a I'm trying to find the right words here. It's such a delicate process because there's so many levels that people need to be comfortable with you on. So they need to be on the most basic level, they need to be comfortable with the fact of sending their very valuable trading cards off to you and expecting that you'll return them. It's so easy to run an exit scam with a grading company. You just throw up a grading company, say, send me all your cards, and I'll definitely send them back graded. So that's like the most basic level of trust that you need to have with a grading company. And you need to have trust that they're going to be graded fairly, accurately. You're going to not be exorbitantly charged. You're not going to be held. Just all of these basic things that these companies really have not developed at this point. So I think it's really difficult for someone to start a grading company out of their basement. Just because to have that, you really need at least some kind of background, reputation, strength within the collecting hobby. And that, because that's what's so important. So one of the reasons I think CGC has done so well over the past year, it's been just about a year since CGC really kicked off and started accepting submissions. One of the reasons I think CGC has done so well and really become a player, at least, never to the level of PSA or even BGS at this point, but CGC is taking an important market share and is providing a needed service right now for a lot of collectors with PSA and BGS shut down. CGC is really the only option you can go to for a well-respected Pokemon card grade. The reason CGC has done so well is because CGC is an offshoot of a comics grading company. CGC Comics has been around forever, and they have that respect. They have that market share within comics. So when CGC says we are going into Pokemon and we're going seriously, that brings a lot of weight to it. And it's not just someone starting up a grading company in their basement. It's someone who's a company that's already respected, that's making a shift. And again, like, even with that, even having that massive amount of respect and reputation within the graded comic collecting community, CGC cards are still, again, not on the level of PSA, of BGS with Pokemon. There's some premiums for CGC cards. CGC 10s I definitely think are commanding a premium in this market, but not that big of a premium like BGS 10s. They're not on that level, and it's CGC is not there yet. It's going to take a good amount of time for CGC to get to the level of PSA. I don't think they're ever going to get to the level of PSA. I think BGS is probably CGC's best shot. But all of this stuff is to say that these backroom basement grading companies, they don't have the number one thing that makes a graded card sell, which is reputation. So if you're thinking of, PSA is closed, BGS is closed, CGC is expensive, why don't I send my cards to, I don't know, Bob in Pennsylvania, dude in the UK who's going to grade my cards and put them in a slab, and it's going to be cheaper than PSA or BGS or even CGC, and I think that's a great idea because I'll get my cards graded for less. No. Like, the only thing that these companies, a value that these bedroom grading companies provide is putting your card in a slab. And for that service, just get a one touch. At that point, you're just better off protecting that card on your own, not taking the risk of sending it off to some random guy who's going to grade your cards and put them in a slab. It's not worth it. Don't do it. That's my best advice. And again, the people who create these companies, I'm not trying to talk down on them. They're trying to hustle. They're trying to make money. And, that's difficult these days. So they see an opportunity and they try to take it. But again, I think a lot of these people have overlooked what I've mentioned, this fundamental factor that makes graded cards sell, which is reputation. So that's going to do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe, and stick around for more videos.